Hello, YouTube. It's me, John Avenger, once again, and welcome back to Guns Galore Month. This is going to be a little bit different because it's not technically a film, but it does have guns in it. And it's from 2019. It was one of the most highly praised TV shows of last year. I started watching it this year. It's the only thing that I got from this franchise that was any good, like since Star Wars Rebels, and that is the space western, The Mandalorian. Yes, Mando has guns. Deal with it. Well, this show, because it feels cinematic, it's a live action series set 5 years after the events of Return of the Jedi. So it's before those other things. I'll get to that. And 25 years prior to the events of The Force Awakens. So this show, trust me, you'll never see the hobo or Baenga or any of these characters. And that's fine with me, because I'm like, I'll show you how I feel. And it says the title character, the Mandalorian bounty hunter, Din Djarin, and his exploits beyond the reaches of the New Republic. What can I say that hasn't been said about this show already? This is what the Star Wars should have been since 2014. When Disney bought the rights, they should have made movies and shows that respect the original canon. Not like these freaking movies that all they did was piss on the fans and they were made to make money. There was no plan. There was no freaking inspiration. They just stole ideas from the originals. Fuck these movies. Yeah, fuck these movies. That's not why I see Star Wars. I see it for things like this. This is what I love to watch. This has way more action. This is short and sweet. Every single episode of the show is short. It's 30 to 35 minutes long, except for the ending is like 40 minutes. It's epic. Every single action scene, I can see it. It's not like this in Solo, where the action scenes are shot in the dark and I can't see anything. I don't care if the disc got scratched. Screw that movie. I love this. This is what I wanted since 2014. Because the main character, the Mandalorian, unlike Kylo Ren, he knows whose side he's on. His backstory is what we should have gotten with Rey back in 2015. No excuses, J.J. Abrams. This is how you do a backstory. He was a kid, just like the hobo. He was a kid, just like Jyn Erso in Rogue One, and he was abandoned from his family. They were murdered by battle droids, and he wants to get revenge on them and any other people that get in his way. Again, it's a backstory, Kathleen Kennedy. Yeah, those abominations, no, they disrespect the franchise and they piss on the OG and they ripped us off. This isn't even on, DVD or Blu-ray yet, and it's amazing. The actors, Pedro Pascal is way more badass than freaking Oscar Isaac as Poe, or Mexican Drake Bell in Rogue One, or anybody in Solo, or freaking or Kylo Ren, because he wears a helmet and never takes it off until the final episode, where IG-88, yes, a character that was barely used in Empire. He's just in one scene. He actually has a badass moment, and he like shoots the freaking stormtroopers. The real stormtroopers, not those Disney-fied small head baby troopers. It's what Star Wars is supposed to be. There is no opening crawl. Again, cue for episode 9 for that. I don't have that on DVD. That's why I won't throw that. But yeah, it knows what it is. I have spoken. Yeah, I have always wanted to say that because I'm like, there's a lot of guns in this. Mando has a ton of freaking artillery. He has his handgun. He has this freaking flamethrower. He can fly, especially at the end. I love this character. This is what I wanted for the past 5 years. Again, Disney, why did you make me wait so long? Why? Why did you give me these abomination SJW crap films in space with characters I don't care about, and you give us this at the last minute right before you give us the finger of middle fingers of the middle finger to end all middle fingers in Rise of Skywalker? There is no Rise. You know what the Rise of Skywalker was? That movie. Anakin becomes a freaking he doesn't want to, he can't be a Jedi Master, so he becomes evil and becomes Darth Vader. There's your Rise of Skywalker. With this movie, it's like hobos are us, MacGuffin, filler, new characters we don't care about, old nostalgia, and I'm a Skywalker. Fuck you. Okay? This is how you do it. The Skywalkers are never mentioned in the show. Mando is more manly than the hobo will ever be. And he's better than freaking Finn because he actually has a character. Oh my god. He doesn't have a fake American accent. Oh my god. There's a woman in this show that's badass, and it's not an SJW character, played by Gina Carano, a MMA fighter that can act better than Daisy Ridley and Felicity Jones. How is this possible? How did you piss us off with these horrible, god awful movies, these god awful cartoons, except for Rebels and Freemakers, and these god awful games? The only good game that came out in the past 10 years was what? That Falling or Jedi Falling Order? That's it. You gave us buggy loot crate boxes, BS with the Battlefront games, and then what? You're going to do a Skywalker Saga game that nobody cares about? People wanted Star Wars to be great again. And like I said, Baby Yoda, adorable. Unlike the porgs that were shoved down our faces, yeah, those god awful little penguin things with the anime eyes that were just annoying, that were there for food. Yeah, Baby Yoda has a purpose. He's force sensitive. He's cute. He heals Mando when he gets hurt. That's a badass character. And he's a little baby thing that doesn't even talk. Basically, a green gremlin. And this is basically what the Boba Fett movie would have been if Kathleen Kennedy didn't interfere with everything. The cast of characters, yeah, like I said, this is a Hispanic guy that actually has a cool voice like this. I'm like, it's a manly voice and it never becomes laughable. He doesn't take his mask off and throw temper tantrums. He doesn't go, I'm good, I'm bad, I'm good, I'm bad. He's an anti-hero. I have been waiting for that since freaking Frozen when Elsa became an anti-hero. Yeah, that's awesome. I would dress up as him for Halloween or for Comic Con because he's a badass character. And it's not because he's a guy, it's because he's a well developed character. Oh my God, pinch me. I've been wanting to talk about the show for so long. The story, it flows. It's not thrown together. It's not nostalgia in your face. Yes, there's lots of Easter eggs. You see the stormtroopers, and then you see freaking the people speaking in other languages, and you see the Jawas, and you see the Sandcrawler, and you see a lot of, but it's not copying the original movies. Hell, the fourth episode was badass. I was like, this is better than any movie because I can see what's going on. It's not too much CGI. It's not strobe lights in my face. It's not lightning with my hands, lightning with my hands, ha, lightning with my hands. No, it's none of that. Shazam did it better. Rise of Skywalker. The child, yeah, puppeteers, a member of the same unnamed species as a powerful Jedi Yoda with similar force abilities. And the child is 50. And he can use force powers at a young age. Why? Because of his bloodline. It's not because of hocus pocus bullshit force powers that come out of nowhere. No, this did it better than Rise of Skywalker. There was already force healing in the video games, so I knew that it existed. But the way they executed in that movie is bullshit. That, the force can bring you back to life, and the force can heal you from getting hit, and the force can do this and then that. No, they're pulling force powers out of their ass. With this, is how it's how it's done. Carl Weathers, he plays Grief Karga. He never says that he's black. Not once. They don't have to be woke and say, oh, look, a black guy in Star Wars. We saw that with Billy D. Williams in the originals and Samuel Jackson in the prequels. It's nothing new. Star Wars has always had black people since Empire Strikes Back. He's a good character. He's an ex-magistrate and the leader of the bounty hunter guide who hires a Mandalorian to track a valuable asset. Yeah, and the Mandalorian, I love his ship. I love the effects in this show. The CGI doesn't look like freaking video game bullshit like in Rogue One, where you have a CGI Peter Cushing, you got a CGI Leia. Why CG? If the actors are dead, just let them die, guys. Just leave them to rest in peace. Don't freaking put this in our faces. We don't want to be reminded that they're no longer around. It's just sad. It's like if you put a CGI Robert Downey Jr. in the next Avengers movie. We know he's still alive. Anyway, who else is in the show? Taika Waititi does the voice of, no, it's not IG-88, it's IG-11. I'm my bad, but it's the same robot. It's the same kind of robot. He's still badass. Like, he's a bounty hunter droid who processed conversations in a process and literally, yeah. So it's IG-11. My bad. I thought it was IG-88. It looks just like him. So you can't exactly blame me. Gina Carano as Kara. Again, a badass female character that is not an SJW, and she has beautiful hair, and she's not British, and she has freaking badassery, and she can actually fight. She didn't train for 5 months with freaking J.J. Abrams saying, oh, what do I gotta do next? No, Gina Carano can fight. Watch her movies. Like Fast and the Furious 6, she actually can fight. The woman can do no wrong when it comes to physical, strength. Nick Nolte is the voice of that cool thing. He's a Ugnaught. Those are the characters from Empire Strikes Back on Bespin that they take C-3PO's head and play hot potato with it. Again, I remember that, guys. I'm not stupid. This year is the 40th anniversary of Empire, so I know that. This actually has talent. It doesn't have freaking foreign actors that don't know what the hell they're doing. Amanda Sedaris, Amy Sedaris as Pelimato. Yeah, she's the docking bay attendant. I remember she's a good actress. So you have Jake Cannavale. He's the younger brother, the son of Bobby Cannavale. He's a Toro Calican. This show never has to mention race because this is a galaxy far, far away. There's no such thing as races in Star Wars. There's humans, aliens, robots, droids, etc., and spaceships and planets. There's no freaking ethnicities here. Ming Na Wen, yeah, an Asian. Oh, yeah, there's nothing wrong with her, guys. Screw what's happening. She's doing fine. She's Fennec Shadden, an assassin who crosses paths with the Mandalorian. And again, she's not superpowered SJW crap, which is fine. You don't have to say they have super vaginas. You can make them be women and still kick ass and still develop them as characters. That's what we wanted to see. Stop kidding yourselves. You have Clancy Brown as Burr, galore, yeah, that devil face guy. Not gonna talk about him much. Richard Ode is the voice of Q90, also known as Zero, a droid member of Malk's crew. Again, a British guy that actually serves a purpose. Giancarlo Esposito, a former officer of the Imperial Security Bureau, the Galactic Empire Secret Police, whose life changed after the Rebel Alliance destroyed the second Death Star. Again, he's a better villain than Snoke and Kylo Ren and Hux and Haldo and all these other useless characters that I don't remember, because he actually gets something done. He has screen presence. The man has been acting for decades, and he doesn't wear a stupid mask. He has a cape just like Darth Vader, but he doesn't wear a stupid mask. And at the end of the first season, when he comes out of that ship and he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna mess you up in the second season," I'm like, "That's a great segue. I'm interested. This isn't, I'm going to wear a mask, a stupid mask, and then go, and then in the second movie, I got to take my mask off because my master thinks it looks stupid." I'm like, yeah. When the writers even say they look stupid, it looks stupid. That's why I screw those freaking rehash trilogy and the spin-offs. Who else is here in the show? I'm getting amped up because I'm like, I hated those movies so much. After Rogue One, I was done. I said no more movies because that's an insult to me as a fan of the originals and the prequels. There's only 6 movies. That's it, all I needed. Michael Biehn is going to be a bounty hunter in season 2, and Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka. I've been watching the cartoon of the show, the Clone Wars. When I first saw it, I was bored out of my mind. Now, because of what's happened, hey, it's entertaining again. Why? Because it's short and sweet. Stop making Star Wars 3 hours. This isn't Lord of the Rings. If you can't tell a good story in 2 hours, then you fucked up. Okay? This tells it in 30 minutes. And every episode, the Mando's freaking theme. I'm like, that gives me chills. Mando is so badass, he doesn't even have to say anything. He doesn't even show his face. He does a nod, or he turns, or he's like, he's actually a fleshed out character. That's why he's so over with people, with the true fans, not these people that'll go see anything that has this name. No, I am very selective. And this doesn't feel like Kathleen Kennedy got her dirty fingers in it. Jon Favreau did the show. He directed most of the episodes. He's freaking awesome. I love Iron Man. I love Iron Man 2. And he produced a third one. And he was also in Avengers Endgame. Yeah, the guy has more talent than Kathleen Kennedy will ever have. And while the episodes did dip, yeah, the first episode was like a really high, second episode, third, fourth. By the 5th episode, it kind of was a little bit weak, but then it went right back up by the finale because I was like, this is freaking awesome. I can actually see what's going on. Rotten Tomatoes are 95%. It says action-packed, definitely, expertly crafted, and it has a freaking plot that's not stolen from the original canon. It does its own thing, which is what I wanted. I didn't want to see how they destroyed the Death Star, how they got the Death Star plans in a movie with boring-ass characters played by foreigners I don't care about. Or Solo. Let's explain how Han got his last name, because he's by himself. He has no family. Again, yeah. And the rehash trilogy. You got a freaking SJW character that can't be touched. That's basically Supergirl with a lightsaber, but in a bad way, badly executed. I don't hate women, guys. If Kathleen Kennedy says I hate women, look who's behind me. A woman. Look who's behind me. More women. Look who's over there. Yeah, I don't hate women. I love them. Estrogen is the greatest thing to come from a woman. It's how you write their characters. You have to develop them. You can't just say, oh, in the first movie, you're going to have all the powers of a Jedi in one film. You have to develop that. You can't just let that come out of your ass. Luke didn't use the Force from his hands until the second movie, and even he didn't even use the mind trick until the third movie. Consistency. It's not an option. It's mandatory for things like this. And they never mentioned the Force. The Force is only used because of Baby Yoda. He has to protect the child. There's a bond there. They're a family. They are close. They actually form a bond that's not artificially made. Like, we're going to make Rise of Skywalker like Avengers Endgame. And you failed. It made less money than it, and it was freaking bashed by critics, and fans will forget about it. Your praise will disappear in 5 or 10 years. It says here, yeah, it takes a bit too withholding. The Mandalorian is a welcome addition to the Star Wars universe that benefits greatly from the cuteness of its cargo, and it's badass and short. If every episode was an hour and a half, it'd be too long. The whole series, like, it's episodes 1 to 8. That's about like 3 movies. Take your pick. It's about 6 hours. It's about maybe like 5 or 6 hours long. 30 minutes times 8. Yeah, it's about 400 minutes. It's maybe like about 5 or 6 hours. But again, I could see this whole series again, all these episodes, and it would be less of a waste of time than the freaking rehash trilogy. Why do I say that? Because again, guys, I'm biased. I love the OG with a passion. Look at my shirt. I have a Mandalorian on my shirt. I saw the Rebels cartoon. I loved it. Ezra was a well-developed character, and so was Kanan and Sabine and Zeb and Chopper and freaking what's her face, Hera. They were likable characters. If you're gonna put a bunch of Brits in me, they better be the best damn actors in the world, because if they're not, they fail. And I'm not a racist either, okay? I loved Alec Guinness in the originals, and Ewan McGregor's British accent in the prequels, and freaking Peter Cushing in the original, and Christopher Lee in episodes 2 and 3. I'm not a racist. Stop saying that I am. I know what accent rings my ears. Anyway, The Mandalorian may already be difficult to care about as something more than an installment that exists solely to set up the next installment. But guess what? With that criticism, I say this. It's not trying to make a whole universe in one movie, like these other freaking movies. Audience viewership. The Mandalorian had a stronger U.S. demand compared to 4 of 2019's biggest streaming originals: Umbrella Academy, When They See Us, The Dark Crystal Age of Resistance, and Amazon Prime's Good Omens. Yeah, much of the social media reaction has been to the show's breakout character. Yeah, Baby Yoda, who's very cute, and he's not overly cute, like, that, oh, he's cute and that's it. No, he actually serves a purpose to the plot. And for the future of this, I'm like, this doesn't feel like Disney bullshit. This feels like something Lucas actually was responsible for. When they were on the production for the show, he was sitting there. Unlike in the god awful rehash trilogy, where they're like, no, Lucas, we don't want any of your ideas. We don't want Luke to be badass. We don't want Leia to do anything. We're going to kill off Han in the worst possible way. And you people praise this freaking garbage? I'm sorry. I'm not going to praise something that they screwed up. Michael King did a great video today, and he said, or yesterday, and he said that, yeah, the Disney rehash trilogy just didn't work, and the spinoff sucked too. There were filler slots for the freaking rehash trilogy because I had to pump this out just to make money. Mandalorian hasn't made a dime yet, not one dime, because the show hasn't been released on DVD or Blu-ray. I want to get this. It's actually badass. The action's good. The story is actually, it has visual and subtle storytelling without shoving it in your face. It doesn't have woke characters. They have women that are badass that actually have backstory. You have freaking cuteness with the freaking with the baby. You have a bond between the main characters. That's the problem with the rehash trilogy. Every character, they're not a family. Everything is artificial. They're freaking robots. They might as well be robots. The only character I liked in the rehash trilogy was BB-8, because he was cute and served a purpose. But then in the later films, he becomes useless. And these human characters are robots. They're just going through the motions of the hero's journey, just like in the originals. And they're not a family. Not that they look alike. They're not bonded. Guardians of the Galaxy, I bought the cast. Avengers, from 1 all the way to 4, you bought the bond of the cast. Their banter worked because it was freaking there. It was written well. The Russos took that home. That's why this is the biggest movie of all time. Yeah, because people cared about the story. As long as it wasn't a freaking middle finger to all of you saying, oh yeah, and by the way, Thanos beats all the Avengers and they all die. The end. That would have pissed everybody off. This show is why I love Star Wars in the first place. Not for your agendas and your stupid fan fiction and trying to let the past die and just doing the same thing. I don't want to see the same thing. I want to see Mando. I want to see freaking Baby Yoda being cute and doing something. I want to see women be women and not over sexualized, but not exactly, I don't know, doing stupid things like like freaking pulling the force powers out of their ass. And I wasn't even interested in this show when it came out. Like last November, I'm like, I need time. I waited till this year and I saw it, and I'm like, I get why this was highly praised over for Rogue One. I'm like, oh god, this looks like Rogue One. There's no color. This is gonna piss me off. I'm gonna be bored out of my mind. No, because the effects don't look like crap. The character's well developed, and Mando is more. He's vulnerable, guys. Hell, he almost dies in the finale. Spoiler alert, this is going to have spoilers. So if you haven't seen Mandalorian, Levy, you can watch this, but I'm not going to spoil too much. He gets an injury on his head. IG 11, not AG 88. My bad, it's a different model. He takes his helmet off. He's like, I don't want anybody to see me. He takes his helmet off and he sprays him on his skull and he heals his wound. See? No freaking SJW powers. A droid saved his life. And even at the end, when IG 11 is doing a self sacrifice, it's earned. It's not like in Rogue One when they kill off K2SO. He was a great character. He was the only funny thing in that movie. They have more life to him than any of the human characters. And what did they do with him? They kill him halfway through the movie. So we're left with freaking Mexican Drake Bell and this useless freaking beaver teeth that has no plot, and then she dies. So I felt nothing, guys, with that. With Mando, I wanted to see him succeed. I want to see him kicking ass in the galaxy. I want to see him take care of the baby. Yeah, I want to see that. Did you see Shoot 'em Up? That's basically what this is. It's Shoot 'em Up in space as a Western, but it's not some slow, boring thing like Rogue One or Solo. It's fun. It gave me that badassery. It had manpower. I finally saw manpower in Star Wars again. I haven't seen that since Rebels. And it has women doing things too, which is cool. They're not in the kitchen. They're actually serving a purpose. They're not just thrown in 15 characters thrown in there like the new Supergirl season or the Rise of Skywalker. Oh, we can't have one girl character. We have to have 10 of them in the background. The gay couple and freaking Zordy Bliss and the freaking other black girl that's basically a female Finn. Why are you doing that? Why are you wasting our time? This is what I wanted, Mandalorian. If this came out in 2015, I would have been like, okay, so this movie wasn't perfect, but at least the show's good. But to release it this late, you should have done it sooner, Disney. What the hell were you thinking? That's like releasing Soul, and then the next movie is some piece of garbage Pixar movie that no one wanted, like a Toy Story 5 that doesn't have the original cast. Yeah, that would piss people off, wouldn't it? Granted, 4 didn't have some of the cast members, but it was good. This is freaking amazing. Like I'm like, they gave more screen time to Mando than they did to Boba Fett and Django combined. And he's not from the Empire. He's actually an anti-hero that's against everything Empire. Because again, look what they did. They defeat the Empire just so they have this second-rate version, the First Order. I told you, stop copying. Oh, what do you mean copy? JJ's not copying. Yeah, he took A New Hope and he made it with CG and bad actors and a payoff that doesn't pay off. The ending of that movie, Luke turned like this. Doesn't say a word. He's going to take the lightsaber in the next movie and toss it over his shoulder. And then in the next movie, he's going to be dead and a ghost. And then the hobo's going to say, I'm a Skywalker. Again, suck it, DR. Your career is finished. Okay? Thanks to what happened this year, your movie Chaos Walking is not coming out till next year. And I'm glad because that was going to suck. Yeah, it's Rey with blonde hair. Again, that's not the same character here. It's not. This character's fully established. Wait till the sequel comes out. Read the freaking comics and play the video games and watch the cartoons. Captain Marvel has a lot more personality than the hobo ever did. That's why she made $1 billion by herself without the help of the Avengers. Yeah, by herself. Not connected to the MCU all the way through or having to shove 15 characters from the thing. No, they saved that for the end credits. Here, it worked. Just like Mandalorian. It's a space epic. That's what I wanted. That's what I got from Captain Marvel. People would disagree with me. Who cares? I love this movie because of what it did. You made a character that I barely knew when I was a kid into a badass. With cosmic arms and, oh, she's OP. She's like that in the comics, guys. Get over it. Sick of your Brie Larson hate. If she ends up with a lightsaber in the next movie, I'm going to see it just for her. Because unlike your precious hobo who can't act, Brie won an Oscar. You guys keep forgetting that. That Oscar Gold was not a fluke. It was for her acting. She can do anything, and I believe in her. And Gina Carano is way more badass than Jyn Erso because she actually does fighting. And she's an interesting character and caring, and she's not a bitch, which is nice to see. And she's a nice drink of water, which I couldn't say that in any of the recent movies. Not even Kelly Marie Tran, and she was in episode 9. They're like, no, we're going to make you a cameo and useless, just like because everybody hated you. Again, it wasn't her fault, guys. Bad writing is what ruined her character. But screw that rehash trilogy. Just go see Mandalorian. If you have Disney Plus, watch it. I know some of you don't, but if you do, or if you can get this on DVD when it comes out, I hope it does. See it. This is freaking worth it. This isn't the money grab that those bastardized versions of Star Wars were. It's not. I didn't feel any of that stink that freaking Kathleen Kennedy's fingers were all over. And I had to let this out because I'm like, yeah, it has a lot of guns in it. The stormtroopers they actually can fire in this. Mando has a ton of artillery, and IG-11 is freaking awesome, and Gina Carano's awesome. A lot of these characters are great, and it's only been 8 episodes. I can't wait to see what they do more with this character because they have a good thing going. Please don't ruin this character in season 2. Please don't, because this is the only thing. This is all I have. I'm never watching another movie if Kathleen Kennedy is not fired by then, because it doesn't make sense. Like this is the real fan. This is the real apology for Last Jedi and Solo, a freaking show that actually develops characters and has visual storytelling and it has a budget. It doesn't look low budget and has a ton of strobe lights and the Emperor doing this. Again, guys, I saw the original trilogy and the prequels. You're not going to do it better. Stop it. I'm glad that freaking rehash trilogy is over. I had to get this out of the way because I wanted to review this show, and it's not a movie, but it feels like a film. Guns galore. I can also talk about shows that have guns as well. I'm just sick and tired of movies not even trying. That's why the theaters are closed right now, because of bullshit like this. But anyway, that's the Mandalorian. This is what This is what Star Wars should have been from the beginning. Badass and action-packed and with characters we care about. No matter the gender or the race or the freaking creed or age, we want to care about what's going on. If I don't, then I walk out. Just like I did with the freaking gentleman earlier this year. I hated the characters. I wasn't laughing. I walked out. It's not a race thing. It's because the content, if it's not for me, it's not for me. This was for me. And these movies can suck it because I'm tired of hearing about them. I'm tired of the freaking hobo. They all suck. They all are freaking useless. They all can kiss my ass. And don't know these are not mine. These are my dad's. He bought them, and they're a freaking waste. They're a waste of the plastic that they were made from. I'm never going to watch those movies again. Well, especially the Force Awakens, because you made Luke completely useless. You took greatness in the originals and you made it into dog crap. And then you made characters that could have been interesting, but no. In the next movie, in the next 2 films, you're not gonna develop them, and they're not gonna be a family. So we don't care. I already got my new Star Wars. It's the Mandalorian and Guardians of the Galaxy, because at least that they're a family, and there's a third one coming out in a few years. That's not gonna get pushed to 10 years. Sorry, thing that's happening right now. But that's all I can say, guys. I don't want this video to go to 50 minutes. If you've seen The Mandalorian, you know what my passion is. But this show's awesome. It's what the movie should have been. Short and sweet. I'm not saying the movie's going to be 30 minutes, but for God's sakes, put effort. These did not. And I hate them for it. Hate them with a passion. It's not just the lead girls because you didn't try. All you did was make a freaking rehash trilogy, doing the same thing but worse. Jurassic World already did that, guys. It beat you to the punch by a few months. Put some effort, or don't do it at all. That's all I'm gonna say. Like freaking Nick Nolte says in the episodes he's in. I have spoken. Later, guys.